righty. Welcome, everybody, to the High Vibe Tribe podcast. Today, we are going to talk about the essential key to my growth, anyways. It is stepping out of your comfort zone. Let's introduce ourselves. I am Mark.
I'm Sean.
I'm Jess.
All right. The other guys are having some technical difficulties. They will be on in a second. All right. Stepping out of your comfort zone. This is key. Many people tend to stay stuck in their comfort zone. Of course, it is unnatural to to resist. What feels comfortable. Many people just stick to it and don't. It's easy to stay stuck in it, but it
They
was so
resist
key for
change.
me. Hmm?
They resist change.
Yeah, many people resist change indeed. That is
Guilty
pretty
of it.
natural.
I'm guilty of
Yes,
it. I don't like
yes.
change very much.
Oh, when
Crave
I
it.
when I realized this, like, you know what, this is key for my healing and my growth, my expansion to stay stepping out of my comfort zone. Then I try to really prioritize that in life. And ever since on my path, it has been an essential thing that I am consciously looking for. Actually, right now, I feel like my comfort zone is out of my comfort zone. I don't feel comfortable anymore with staying in my comfort zone too long. Um, I love the unknown. I'm in love with the unknown. I constantly seek new experiences. I don't want to stay too in a too comfortable, familiar area because I believe where the real magic happens usually is out of your comfort zone to seek new experiences and expand. And that is how you grow, right? How you expand, how you because if you stay in the same, that's what you already know. But if you dive into the unknown, you broaden your life experience and you put yourself to the test so you can actually improve a lot of skills. For example, I used to be very shy, very insecure. Well, when I really started to practice this, yes, it was very uncomfortable. For example, at a party or something, like I would never be, just going out there and just dance or something. I was way too insecure, way too shy, but I love dancing, so I was always dancing in my room. But I was in my head always, worrying about what people think of me and whatnot. But the way to get over it is just to get uncomfortable. Get
Do it.
uncomfortable and do it anyways. If you do it enough, you'll get comfortable with it.
Right.
Who else has a example of stepping out of your comfort zone?
Well, I was going to say way I done that, and it's Mark's fault. This was actually posting a song of myself singing to our group chat that we're in. And I'll never forgive Mark for this, but then again, if he hadn't have twisted my arm, Quentin wouldn't have known what I sounded like, and he would have carried on thinking I was a man, not a woman, and we wouldn't have got together. So yeah,
It
Yeah,
is.
that was a major step out of your comfort zone indeed. You were
Mhm.
very anxious about that, very scared, but I guess now it is um not as a big step anymore because you've done it right now.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes I'll still, get nervous. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable actually singing for everyone right now, but I never used to be able to record myself where you could actually see me. But I've started doing that and at least sharing it with you. So I'm
Right,
getting there
right.
slowly.
Yes,
Nice.
and every time you do step out of your comfort zone expands. The horizons literally broaden, they expand. So, every time your comfort zone is really a fluid thing. And it is really a matter of practice. How more you practice, how more you step out of it, how more wider it's going to be, how more comfortable you're going to be with these things until it's totally not uncomfortable anymore. That's the beautiful thing about stay stepping out of it. So I always try to look for ways like, how can I step out of my comfort zone? So how about you, Jess? What are some things that how you stepped out of your comfort zone?
Oh, it's a daily thing. The biggest changes happen when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. Comfort zone. If you're constantly doing things every day that you're doing, your daily activities in a place where you're comfortable. You're not pushing beyond that, and you're not going to learn from that. I don't, a lot of it has to do, I struggle with a lot of anxiety. It's just there. It is what
Same
it is.
here.
Doesn't matter how healthy I am, doesn't matter how active I am. It's still there in some form or another, sometimes for whatever reason. But I've never once let that hold me back, at least in my adult life. Now that I'm more aware of what it is and I understand what I'm feeling, you just push through. You kind of do the thing anyways, because you're going to get through it. The moments pass. And when you come out on the other side, I'm happier that I actually went through with it rather than allowing that to hold me back. I run like 7,452 businesses. I don't know why. I'm always trying something different. I'm always taking a risk, and I'm always jumping into something which is completely outside of my comfort zone and learning from it. I've learned so much from taking that risk. Whether
Oh
like
yeah.
through every failure, every success, like failure is really teaching you something. It's going to teach you something. And
Yeah, it's those leap of faiths that are so essential. And it is a big shift happens when we start to realize, when we start to be grateful for it and want this unfamiliarity in our lives. Like
Words are
these new
hard.
these new experiences, which it is our nature to feel uncomfortable, to want to resist it. But once we realize that this is what we need to grow, something can
Something
snap in
else.
you. There can be a shift in your perspective that you're actually gonna want this, that you're gonna appreciate this uncomfortable feeling because it is
yes.
gonna make you grow.
Oh,
So yeah.
that's like the biggest, the most important thing I can tell anybody about doing things that makes them uncomfortable is you're going to learn something from that experience that you'll never have to learn again. It will be with you for the rest of your life.
Yes. Yes.
Technical
Absolutely.
difficulties, guys. We're going to have it all together sooner or later, I promise, because Justin was having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So when his actually got up and running, they're still figuring it
Carry
out.
on.
That's it's all good. Nobody's worried about it. Well, we're just flowing. Oh, I have too many chords.
Just going with the flow. It's all gonna be all right. In the meantime, we're just filling it up. So yeah, one thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, talking about stepping outside your comfort zone, if you wanted to share your little adventure from last night and the process. I mean, even though you may have been comfortable with it, that is still something that a lot of people would overthink, wouldn't experience it. So why don't you share that story?
Oh yeah, that was a step out of my comfort zone indeed. So yesterday I heard that there were northern lights visible in the Netherlands. Now it has always been a big goal of me to see the northern lights. So if I get a chance to see the northern lights, I'm gonna take it. So it was best visible, they said, on the north coast. So I was like, I'm gonna get my ass over to the coast. And I was thinking, like, it was late in the evening that it would be visible. I could just be there for like an hour and go back with public transport. Or I thought, what if I just take my tent and just go camp somewhere on the beach or by the coast and watch the beautiful sky with the northern lights and the beautiful starry sky? I heard it was. So that sounded pretty awesome to me, and I kind of romanticized it in my mind. I took my tent. I was like, I'm going. And it was also a leap of faith because I didn't know how to go, but I just got on the train to Groningen. That is my hometown. I live like now 30 kilometers from Groningen. In Groningen is where my dad still lives. So I don't have a bike over there. I could have maybe got it from my desk, but first I was figuring out how I got there. So I was messaging some random people on, we got a site like translated marketplace.nl. So it's a site where you can get secondhand bicycles and everything. And I had a number for somebody to get a bicycle. So I was making all arrangements in the train, see if I can get a bicycle. Well, I saw that didn't work out. I was like, okay, we also have a system for public transport bicycles. You pay like €4 per day. So I decided, you know what? I'm grabbing a public transport bicycle. I'm going to bike for 2 hours over to Lauwershoog. That is the coast. And then I'm going to camp over there. But like I was walking up to the public transport bike and I already made a post on Facebook that I was one way or another getting my ass over to the coast. So right before I came to the bike, my phone rang, and it was my cousin, and he said he was heading over there. So it was a perfect timing. Thank you, universe. He was coming through Groningen, through my hometown, and he was gonna pick me up. So I went with him in the car, went over there, chilled over like for an hour over there, but unfortunately no northern lights. Then he went home with his girlfriend, and I just decided to stay there. I did have some doubt in my mind when I came over there because it was cold. It was like 26 Fahrenheit, -3 Celsius. So that's cold. But I was packed up good, so I wasn't necessarily that cold. But as we sat for an hour over there, yeah, you get cold. But I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. This is an adventure. I had it in mind already. I'll just go for a nice hike, and then I want to put myself to the test. I want to see where my limit is, what I am still comfortable with. So I did it anyways. I hiked for like 2 hours. Then I put up my tents at a nice spot that I found. I didn't sleep great, but at least I slept like 3 hours. I was a little cold in the tent, but it really wasn't terrible. It was actually doable. Would I do it again? Sure. If there's something cool to see or something, would I do it randomly for fun? No. But at least at least I know now, it is not, it is totally doable. And if there is a good reason to do so, I would totally do it again. And I absolutely did not regret it. So that was a step out of my comfort zone, for example.
It was a mini adventure and you didn't get eaten, so all is good.
Hell yeah.
Well,
And it
we
was a
don't
beautiful
have
clear sky with
you
uh, wha-
and Justin now. So if you
yes.
guys wanted to introduce yourselves and then tell
Oh yeah, I'm just finishing real quick. So yeah, it was a beautiful walk, like for 2 hours, a beautiful, clear, starry sky with the moon out. So I was just walking over the dike with the coast right next to me. So it was a beautiful vibe. I really enjoyed it to the fullest. And now we got Q and Justin over here. What's up, guys?
Oh, yeah.
I think
What's
we're
up? What's
working
up?
here. Justin has a pro setup. It's pretty nice.
I know he sent the
excuse
video
me
in
for
our
having my
chat.
own private little giggle, but over here in the UK, the word steak actually has rude connotations.
Yeah, the America over here in America too. But that's okay. I know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I do too, but I was just kind of having a little quiet giggle behind me.
Wait, what were you talking about, Sean? I missed that.
The word steak over
Huh?
here has rude connotations.
Which word?
I'm sure,
dike.
what, Mark?
Dike, yes. But also, dike is English for it is actually the word for what I'm talking about too.
Yes, I know
Yeah.
that, but over here and in the US, it
I
actually
know.
has a rude word.
I know that.
Well,
It's a lot of water related terms are rude for some reason. Like damn. I don't know. Depends on the context. I
Yeah,
guess.
damn too. Damn dike, yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. So how about y'all guys? Q and
Any-
Justin, can you share anything about stepping out of your comfort zone? Like maybe any experiences you've had yourself with it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We just walked into the library and I've been trying to figure out how to do this podcast without a library card and while not having the money to pay for the fine. So I was trying to navigate that sort of territory, but I don't know. It's also hard for me to whisper, and I'm in a library and they've already come in here and told me to quiet down. So this is stepping outside of my comfort zone a little bit, but
And there you
doing my
go.
best.
There you go. Stepping out of his comfort zone as we speak. And how about you, Justin? Can you think
Oh,
of any
man.
moment that you stepped out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, dude. I know like there's two key moments I was thinking about that are very like specific where I met like the best friends in my life, honestly. First one was my friends Rogelio and Nick. I met them when I was like in seventh grade or so. I think that's when like I met them. And I was walking my dog and I remember the seeing them like picking ants on like the side of the street or something like on the sidewalk, you know. And I just remember having a very conscious thought of I can keep walking my dog like I do every day and just go down, where these apartments are across the street from where they were, and just go down the alley and just go home, right? And just like any other day, like in whatever. Or I can potentially make a couple friends by stepping out of my comfort zone, doing something I don't normally do, and go approach them and say, "Hey, what's up?" And I chose to do that, and they became like my best friends, brothers for life.
Oh
And
yeah.
the second time I was I think around the same, yeah, I was in the same grade, is when I was is when I met Quentin, I think I like first I went to Quentin's house because I had a class with his brother and a friend of ours, and they were talking about like going over to like Quentin's house, and I was just like, I just randomly was like, "Hey, can I go with you?" And that was the first time I ever went over there, and I just met a bunch of like friends like doing that. It was great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
my house was kind of the hangout spot.
Yeah.
We had a room. It didn't have the AC in it, which was kind of brutal in the summer in Arizona. But we had a TV, and a bunch of friends would bring over video games and stuff, and we just um I don't know. We were
Super
playing
chill.
outside often too, but sometimes like especially when it gets really hot, you're not really playing
Yeah,
outside.
shit. No AC in Arizona in the summer. I think that's killer.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I had AC inside, but the room we all hung out in didn't have AC, so it got
Gotcha,
pretty
gotcha.
and with a bunch of boys in there, it got kind of
Yeah.
raunchy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it sounds like fun times. Yeah, definitely. And also, I met so many awesome people by, for example, going alone to places, to parties and stuff. That was something that was majorly out of my comfort zone when I was younger. But because I did these things anyways, and I realized I kept in mind the importance of I'm going to grow now. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to get more comfortable with it. And with that mindset, with that perspective, if you go into these things, it becomes fun. It becomes a game. Like, hey, I want to look for that uncomfortableness, that stepping out of my comfort zone. So I would go to parties alone, and more and more I learned to, just totally be myself, not give a shit about what people think of me, and to just, dance and just freely do my own thing. At first, I would feel all anxious and awkward, even around my friends. If, we had a party or something, like dancing is one of my passions. So I always dance like if I'm alone. But I would be super anxious to do it around people, but I just started doing it, and I went from the silent guy who never says anything, who's just sitting there with his friends and is very awkward and silent, to always at parties, the first guy that gets up to dance and gets other people to dance and everything. And that's one of my passions. So I was just more freely being able to be my raw, authentic self without being in my mind and being anxious about it and feeling awkward about it, just by doing it anyways and looking for it and stepping out of my comfort zone. Now I go to raves all of the time. I go alone and I, go crazy dancing, and I meet a lot of awesome people. If it weren't for stepping out of my comfort zone when I was a little younger, there was no way I would do it. And even always, if I meet people over there, they are so surprised that I'm even going there alone. And I'm like, I always meet people there, so it is all in our minds, this resistance, like, oh, isn't that weird, isn't that awkward, like especially doing things alone, right? Like so many people have this resistance to doing things alone, like, oh, I gotta be with people, or people are gonna think I'm weird going alone or something. That's the biggest bullshit ever. So it is so freeing once you become independent and not care about what people are gonna think about you or something, and just freely be yourself.
You
Yeah,
learn to remove the mask that society forced on you, because growing society teaches, well, that's weird and that's unusual and that's strange. So you're naturally taught that the things that you may enjoy or that may be more freeing for you are supposed to be weird. And learning to just not give a shit about any of that and just flow with it, be yourself. And what does it really matter what the person, like if somebody's looking at you and you're dancing weird and they're like, that person's really, they're going to go home and they're going to forget all about you, and they're not going to have any impact on your life 5 minutes from that moment, 5 hours from that moment. So just go be
What's
weird.
what's more important is the people that do like you being yourself. It is the perfect filter system to be your raw, authentic self, because you are
You're filtering
deflecting
out the
people.
weirdos
Yeah,
and the
well,
Right.
normies.
well, in my case, I'm
Mm.
attracting the weirdos.
That's what I
Exactly.
mean.
Well,
You filter
Yeah.
out
and it's
the
being more honest
weirdos
too.
from the
Like if you,
normies and the normies piss off.
yeah, good point. And well, and if you are genuinely trying to become a better person, then like it's part of the, like, you being honest to yourself is kind of like acting to your true intentions. And then if other people have a problem with it and you're honest with yourself, you might, change and become like the better person that you want to be.
I mean, I get it
And
because years
Yeah.
ago, I never used to talk about my anxiety or depression ever. This was like late teens to early 20s, but I eventually started to, because when I used to not talk about it, I used to feel so embarrassed, and it was still the whole taboo. You don't talk about mental health bullshit. But once I started talking about it and about why I have the anxiety and depression, I'm like, you know what? Fuck what anyone else says, because I could be helping someone by talking about what I've gone through. It might be helping someone else, because if they see that I'm surviving and thriving, then maybe they'll see that they can too.
Right.
And that
And
was
Of
like a big
course, but it,
step out of my comfort zone back then in
yeah,
my early to mid 20s.
and you talking about it is also helping you. It's
Mm.
going to help you heal and process. And then when you're when you're healing from something traumatic, or when you've healed from something traumatic, I don't know if you ever fully heal from it. Where healing, you get better. You're able to then more successfully help another person.
Oh, I'm not
that's
fully
true.
healed from my past issues. I'll never be fully healed from it, but
Mm.
I can handle it a lot better now than I used to be able to.
everybody
Right.
always has the capability to fully heal from anything. So you shouldn't say like, I will never totally heal from it, because then you are blocking yourself in that. Your potential is really limitless to heal. And
I think it
Well,
depends
I
on how
never
you
used to be
define
able to think I
heal
could
too.
get as far as I am now.
I do
Yeah.
think,
I
just
used
like
to live
Q's
with
saying,
daily suicidal thoughts
Right.
years
I
ago.
mean,
I don't
like someone
have
who,
as many now. Yeah, I've
yeah,
overdosed twice. I will happily share about that now. I never used to be able to. And that's where I'm coming from.
I
I
think,
don't think I'll ever get over it, but I'm getting there.
right. So getting over it's different. Like healing or being healed from something, you can still acknowledge that it was traumatic or shitty or wrong, and be able to comfortably talk about it and know that that hurt you at that time, but be okay now. So technically you would be healed from it, but you still have those memories. They're still going to be with you, and you may be able to, I think it's all about processing, being able to actually process it, sit with it, and understand
and
it for what it is.
yes,
and
yes.
contextualizing, I think also, so like if you're injured, like you might always have a scar there, or if you lose an arm, you're never going to like grow that arm back, at least not with current medical science. But you can have a prosthetic, or like if you think you're never going to play basketball again just because you're in a wheelchair, there's all sorts of people who play basketball in wheelchairs. Like there's
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like you won't be able to do exactly what you want to do, maybe, like,
Yeah.
but like you'll be able to figure out maybe how to do something even better.
Absolutely. And it's about fully thriving with what you have, and accepting what you may lack, or, whatever the scar has, whatever the scar is. And it is just working with what you have and totally accepting every part of yourself, also your shadow. I believe, anything unhealed is anything you still might resist in yourself. So I think it is all about acceptance, acceptance of the past, being okay with what happens, because it is what it is, and you have to make the best of it,
I mean,
and learning to deal with that. And yes, it
I
is a long
still get
process.
upset at times about what I've been through. Not as often as I used to, but I do still have those moments, because, I'm angry at what happened to me. I'm not angry at what my parents done to me, because they're abusive fuckers and they're not worthy of my time. But I'm not angry at them anymore. I'm just angry at what they done to me. And it's that what upsets me. Now, for me, that is actually a big stepping stone, because years ago I was angry at what happened to me, and I was angry at them for doing that, for abusing me the way they did. But now I've actually moved on from the anger at them, but I'm still angry at the injustice of what occurred to me. So I have made a lot of progress over the years, but I still have the days where it does overwhelm me, it does upset me, and I'm perfectly happy talking about it all to people. And for me, that's a big stepping out of my comfort zone thing that I'm still continuing to do.
And that might help you continue to heal until you get to a place where you
Yes.
feel like you have healed from it.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, talking about it is, I would not force anybody to talk about their trauma by saying, if you talk about it, you'll feel better, because you don't
Oh,
have
I'm
to. You're
saying-
not required to. But if you want
I mean-
to, go for it.
I mean, I only talk about it when I'm comfortable with it. I'm like, if I know someone's upset about something, I'll say to them, do you want to talk about it? If they say no, fine, tell me when you're ready. And like,
Yeah.
that's the whole point of me starting that blog, so that I can talk about what I've went through. And if anyone feels comfortable sharing their experiences, they can do. And
Yeah,
at least that way
absolutely.
they know that someone else has gone through it, and you can see it somewhere that's like a social platform, and it might
Right.
help them to get better.
Yeah. I think often it comes to, and maybe it's not always due to this, but often it's due to some sort of experience, a traumatic experience. If you have some sort of anxiety, like a social anxiety, and so working through it should be a conscious and consenting choice, right? Because then you're invoking the trauma, you're bringing it up again. I mean, I think no matter how you're working through it, healing sort of involves bringing it up in some way or another, because like, how are you going to heal something
It's so
painful
raw,
without?
it's so messy.
Mhm.
I know from experience how raw and messy healing from mental, emotional, and physical trauma can be. So I get it. I don't
Yeah.
always like being pushed into doing something because of all that anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I had pushed myself to like get past a lot of social anxiety. Like I was working as a bike delivery guy in Seattle for a while, and then I found a really cool sort of activist job where I would sort of talk to people on the street and try to get them to sign up for a subscription fee for this what was basically a union for gig workers, because they don't really have any representation. I was trying to get people to sign up for like a nonprofit that was like advocating for them. But like it involved basically waving random strangers down on the street and trying to get them to like put their credit card information in
Yeah,
on
I
my
don't like
tablet.
that.
And it was just like it was really stressful, especially for someone who had like some pretty bad social anxiety. But like I deliberately took that job because I wanted to work on that. And
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do it unless it was something that I was like really passionate about, and like I made a consenting choice towards working on this. I'm like, well,
Mm.
this is something that's hard for me, but I believe in the cause and I really want to do this. And so that's what made me get over that anxiety of like, oh no, I can't do this. I
Yes.
can't put myself out there.
Well, I
That's
can
awesome.
kind
Yeah.
of get that, because I don't like talking in front of people, but because there's
My soul
us five in the one group together
Okay, I'm gonna
doing this,
whisper a bit closer.
feel a bit more, comfortable,
Mm.
because the
Right.
spotlight's just not solely on me. Sometimes it
Right.
is when I'm talking, but then if I start getting a bit too anxious, I can always pass the baton on to someone else as well, until I feel
Absolutely.
a bit more confident, comfortable talking again.
I
So
push.
for me,
Absolutely.
that helps. That's helping my social anxiety a little bit.
Yeah, see. The thing with me is like I can talk to pretty much anyone, but there's some like a lot of times large groups of people will just cause all the anxiety within
Oh
me
yeah.
to start.
Same.
But
Yeah, I
I
get that.
have every single time I've still persevered. I've still gone into whatever event it was. The actual conversing with somebody is not an issue. Somebody if starts a conversation with me, if it can just flow and it'll be fine. That doesn't make me nervous at all. It's just the large crowd, all of that
Yeah.
energy surrounding me, and I
Yeah.
have to kind of like
I don't
bubble
like
myself.
large crowd. I don't like large crowds of
Yes, it can be
people.
Yeah,
very
this is
overwhelming.
still where my anxiety is most seen too. If
Yeah.
I'm talking for, oh, sorry, Sean, that I interrupted. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if I'm talking one-on-one with someone and it's in-depth conversations, I can talk and talk and talk. As Q knows, because me and him have had, lots of long conversations for hours about random shit.
You even
like
talk on this
science.
podcast more. Like when we first started the podcast, you kind of sat quiet. You might say one or two things, and now you kind of just flow with us.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's
Absolutely.
once I get used to a situation, I can start talking more. I just kind of have to, feel the energy first and kind of get used to it. And like
Mhm.
if it's a large crowd of people and I'm the speaker, I do still, get nervous. But I think also because I'm in my own home and I've got my little princess here, she usually knows when I'm, feeling a little bit nervous, and she comes and gives me lots of hugs, don't you, baby?
I know this is the biggest thing I say. Like, I love being in my own energy. I am perfectly comfortable and happy being in my own energy with obviously my kids, my pets, all of that. That's my comfort zone. Of course, you have to leave that daily. You have to step outside of your own energy. You have to go be around other people. I guess you really don't have to, but it's advisable. Go like merge in with society, talk to
Yes.
people. You might get really lonely otherwise, so find a
Yes,
balance.
but it's this
Well, I'm trying
mindset
to get
that
Titch
if
to say
you
hi to everyone before she goes, but she's
Hi,
being a little weird.
Tish.
Titch, say hi to everyone. She's not interested.
Meow.
So
She does
But
not
it's
want to be
that
on this
say a lot
live.
at you all. So
there was something I
when
wanted
she's
to kind of
ready,
add
she'll
to
come
that.
back.
I wanted to add, like, because I find it very interesting when it comes to like social dynamics about like the nervousness of like if you're speaking within a group, like you have to let go of you. You have to let go of your ego and yourself and be merged with that group and be with the energy of like the group. Like, you know what I mean?
yes,
You have to,
yes.
you have to learn to merge. It's like protect your energy. Always protect your energy, but it's okay to like expand your bubble a little bit.
Yeah, like if you're the speaker of a group is what I mean. Is like you have to be the group, like you can't
Yeah,
be
like
like yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to promote drugs over here, but I had my first I had my first experience with that on drugs, like when I took like ecstasy for the first time, for example. That was the first time when I was always in my own bubble. But then I learned, like, boom, I can be in a bubble with everybody at the same time and totally share my energy. And
Mhm.
that was
Not to
something
promote
flipped in my
drinking,
mind.
but alcohol used to do that for me. No, I'm
That's
not saying
Those
it
are
could,
both
yeah.
really bad coping mechanisms, people. If you're watching this, don't do it.
No,
Yeah, I don't
everyone
advise that.
I've never been an alcoholic.
Mhm.
I only drank occasionally, but my father was an alcoholic. So
Oh, well, Justin knows I drink like a monk, so I'm very very honest and
But that
Oh.
is something that I don't want to promote it then again. But for me, it was something that showed me how social and how in a bubble with everybody I could be. And then I was like, you know what? This is only like a cheat on life, a help middle that gets me there instantly, like boom. But I can do this myself. I have seen that I can
Yes.
do it myself. And this is all inside. That stuff is not giving me anything that is not inside. It is just a cheat code to get there, but I can do that without.
It was making you more comfortable getting there.
Yes. So then, but that was about the same time I realized the importance of stepping out of my comfort zone. So I was like, I took that memory and I was like, okay, I know this is in me. I know I can do this. Now I'm gonna, work my way back up there and just stay stepping out of my comfort zone, make myself uncomfortable. And it's really when the magic happens, when that shift in perspective comes, like you are getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That is it. Like, don't see being uncomfortable as a bad thing. Many people avoid being uncomfortable because they see it as a bad thing, but it's a good thing. It is essential. So yeah, that's when a lot of growth happens for me, and I always try to look for ways to step out of my comfort zone. And yes, talking in big groups, that is still a big thing for me. That would be awkward, like online or something, in something like this, no problem. But if it's in real life and there's a big group in front of me and I have to do like a presentation or something, my heart goes beating and I all get nervous and
That's exactly what I'm
I
like,
get
Mark. I
yeah
can
and
talk on in this, but I can't talk in person in big groups because I start getting nervous and shaky.
Me too.
See
Like I
them.
feel like my old self is coming up again. Me when I was still very anxious and stuff, and I feel like that kid again that still is very anxious, and I get a hard heartbeat and everything, and I get a little shaky, and I don't come out of my words and everything. So that is exactly something I have to look for. So I have been telling myself I should more actively pursue it, that I want to look for like an open mic or something, or some
Yeah.
situation that I
go.
can talk in front of a crowd. I
Mhm.
need to look for this.
Oh,
You know
Mark,
what? I'm gonna really try to do this
Mark,
this
please.
coming period. See if I can. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but I know some really excellent like
Okay,
poetry
Hunter.
places and like spoken word. Like I don't know, some of them are really weird. I can steer you away from the really weird ones, but there's places that love hearing like
But that's
spoken word
probably
poetry,
online,
singing,
right?
and stuff like that.
But that's
It,
probably
it is
online.
it is online, and it's better to
See,
have face-to-face interaction. But I mean, that's what helped
See,
me
that
get
is not
over it.
out. That is not
being
out of my
Mhm.
comfort zone. I'll go crazy dancing and
Oh,
singing and being totally a fucking weirdo online, and that's not out of my comfort zone anymore. But it is
okay.
to do it in person. Still, it sounds interesting, Q. Like, tell me more about it. But that is not
Right. Yeah.
necessarily
Sorry.
out of my comfort zone. Out of my comfort zone would be in real life. It's a different story. Like I can still in real life.
Mhm.
I'm going to a lot of like raves now, for example. I'll dance my ass off and just totally be myself. That is also
That
not out of
must
my
hurt
comfort zone now
dancing your
anymore.
ass off.
But it still is. Hmm?
I was saying it must hurt dancing your ass off. You mustn't have an arse lap.
I don't. I got many spare asses actually.
So
Well,
just
No,
had to come up with that joke.
should we introduce?
it is really a speech talking in front of people. That is when I still get nervous. So that is a specific thing I need to work on. What when you want to say, Q?
Oh, I was just gonna say that transition's really nice to introducing Moon. I'm not
Yes,
sure if
I
anyone
was
else
just
has
about to
mentioned,
say
but
that.
Yeah,
was
I
just
did
about to
say
say
hey
that.
to him, but I don't think he
Is
heard.
he
And then I
here?
messaged him.
I don't
Yeah,
do you see
see
him?
him.
He's
Oh, I
been
see
I'm on
him
the
the
now.
myth, the legends.
Hey, Hunter.
He's been chilling
How long have you
Hello.
been here?
like the
Aurora,
entire
please.
time.
I didn't even see you.
Don't you
That's
have it
okay.
on the view
Hey,
that you see
Yeah,
I
everybody?
did
I
say
can.
hey
It's
to
only
you, but I
letting
don't
me
think
see
you heard.
4 out of the 5 of us up there, so I had to move over.
Ah, gotcha. What's up,
Right.
Hunter?
What's up?
How you
Clouds,
doing?
sun,
The sun.
birds.
That's
Pretty
what's
good.
up. That's what's up. Roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, Aurora!
crown
That's my
chakra.
face.
Hey,
How are
sweetie.
you guys doing?
We're chilling,
Hi,
man.
gorgeous
We're doing
girl.
good.
Mark,
good.
say hello to little Aurora. She's gorgeous.
She can't hear you guys. You have to wave.
Hey,
They're all
hello.
saying hi to you. Say hi back. Okay.
Mhm.
Can we continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mommy.
Okay. All right.
So Hunter Moon, welcome over here in the podcast. Can you think of
Welcome
something?
to your gorgeous self. Do you have any times where you've, come out to your shell?
Yeah, do you got an example of stepping out of your comfort zone, Hunter Moon?
That's what I
Oh,
was
dude,
trying to say.
that's like my fucking life.
Right?
Yeah. Like that's always. A specific example, man.
Or not necessarily a specific example, just like your process with it and your thoughts on it. On yeah, like how you when did you realize that, and was there like a point for you that you really realized the importance of it and really started using this a lot and stay
Crystal.
consciously stepping out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say when I was younger, I used to be like a lot more shy and timid in group settings and, kind of
Mm.
shaky voice when sharing in front of my
Me
peers
too.
or, just pretty usual. Um, And then once I got older and I started caring a whole lot fucking less about what people thought of me, I was just able to go up there and um I don't know, in a way I felt like a Family Guy character that just didn't give a fuck, you know? Their eyes were like half slanted and they're just super chill. And
Hell
that's
yeah.
just kind of yeah, I kind of treat it like that. And um I also don't really attach a whole lot to judgments, or if I receive a
Yes.
look in any certain way, I'm like,
Yes.
oh, that's gonna affect my work or whatnot. And
Yeah.
I've just learned to kind of take a lot of things like a grain of salt and um detach in that way, because then it could be a lot more intimidating when looking to go and do that kind of stuff and keep you away from it ultimately. Um and yeah, I feel like I do better in person, honestly, than I do online, which is interesting.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Well, for me, I'm actually the opposite to Hunter, because I do better online than I do in person.
gotcha.
Same.
Yeah, I mean,
But it
it's
depends on the situation, really. But in general, I feel the same way. It's harder in person because
yeah,
you're right there. If it's like a big group or anything, you know. If it's not a big group, I don't have a problem usually. It also depends on the vibe of the people and everything. It depends on a lot of things.
The
But I
vibe has
think in general,
a lot to do with it.
oh
Yeah.
Your
yeah,
vibe
absolutely.
attracts your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah, but it is so essential, you know. That was what I was talking about earlier, but I didn't finish. It was like if you are being your raw, authentic self, that is the perfect filtration system, right? Like you
yeah,
are attracting your tribe, you are attracting people that see you for you because you are being your raw, authentic self and shining your light undimmed and not giving a fuck about what people think about you or giving a fuck about fitting in. See, this is a thing that is programmed in society. Everybody wants to fit in, you know, and you don't, the sharp edges are kind of cut off. You don't want to be perceived as weird. And that is such a toxic mindset from society. And it's such a beautiful thing to shine your light and embrace how you are different, just like your poem. Could you read your poem, Hunter? That was beautiful. That was also about, shining your own light, being unique, being authentic. I really enjoyed that.
thank you. As far as reading my poem, I write on the spot, so I don't remember it word for word for right now. But
Okay, I totally understand that. But yeah, that was really cool. Also about, being your authentic self. And yes, like you deflect people who are not supposed to be with you. Like people worry about people that judge them, but be happy that these people judge you because they won't be around you any longer and you don't want these people around you. Or anyways,
yeah,
they won't associate with you. So, you're filtering them out and you're attracting people that see you for who you are and appreciate you for who you are. So if you go in it with that mindset, like, let's be my weird, raw, authentic self and not give a total fuck, then you are gonna attract your tribe and you are gonna deflect the people who are not supposed to be with you. And
I
that
think
is
that is
important.
absolutely.
I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned as I continue to grow is not everyone that you meet is meant to be a part of your life. And that doesn't make them a bad person. They could be perfectly a great person, they can have a great vibe, but that doesn't mean that you two are supposed to merge and have any type of relationship or friendship or anything. So just go your separate ways, wish them well, and focus
Yeah,
on what you're doing and just let it go. What are you
yeah,
doing?
Yeah, I
exactly.
wanted to say that ties in really well to this thing I learned about recently, where different cultures generally look to different features for like how they identify like friends and relatives, and like how you put a name to a face, which is something I'm just generally terrible at. I mean, I'm really bad at remembering names. it took me like 3 months of being with my last girlfriend before I like actually remembered her name. Like I knew her name, but I couldn't pronounce it very well for a while.
3 months
And
before
it's
you
just
remembered your girlfriend's name.
yeah, it's just, I've done much better with Sean, so I remembered her
Oh,
name quite quickly.
that's good. But he does have a problem trying to remember my tits from his little Talia.
Our,
'cause
our
Kitchen
cats look
Talia.
very
I'm
similar.
called
Yeah.
I said
his
that they
kitty
look
cat
the
Talia
same.
by my Titch's name. And I'm like, he's going, Titch, where are you? And I've got Titch and go, she's right here. Right here. Hello. And he's like, oh yeah.
Well, anyways, I wanted to say that like if you've ever heard like someone say like all Asian people look the same, and Asian people generally sometimes they say like all white people look the same. That's because we're looking to different features. Like they look at different things around your face and like about your identity. It's not that they look the same, it's just that we don't know
Aurora.
what to look for, really. It's just and that's why I think it's if you are trying to grow a tribe, you should have like the most diverse sort of like ideas and appearances and ways of acting and being, because that allows you to empathize with more types of people.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you
Well,
can't
we've got me
identify
with the
something
short
about someone
hair, and
doesn't
we've
mean they
got
don't have
Mark,
it.
and we've got Q as the long-haired hippies of the group.
Right. I think we're over represented at the moment.
Yeah, that's also example of your comfort zone is the people who you hang out with, because a lot of people are only comfortable with people who are exactly like them, and it's a boring old same group of people. But it is so much more interesting if you connect with all kinds of people, and have like step out of your comfort zone with that as well. And get over that whole mindset of it has to be familiar for me to connect. It's a funny thing, the resistance to things that are different, resistance to unfamiliar. There we go again. Unfamiliarity.
Words are hard,
Most-
guys.
we have like a natural resistance to it, but
The
if you become interested in it, and you want to become more inclusive and more open, that's when there's really a shift in perspective happening, and many people, they want to stay in what is comfortable and what is familiar, but it is so key to break out of that. And I've noticed,
Yep.
I've for a long time I've had a friend group over here as well, like with all kinds of people, and I saw the beauty in that, to not just hang around with the same type of people, do the same type of stuff. But yeah, I live for new impulses. I always seek new impulses. I was never comfortable really with staying in the same place,
Mhm.
really. So
Yep.
yeah, it's a beautiful thing to just stay looking for new impulses, stay looking for new experiences. That is the most way we grow. We are also programmed to just stay inside of our bubble.
You're gonna go upstairs. You need to take it
Absolutely.
easy.
I pulled up my poem here that I have written,
Oh, great.
and curious which one you would like to hear, the yin yang or the rainbow.
The yin yang.
Ooh,
Yes,
I'm voting rainbow.
100%.
But okay, yin yang.
Okay. So the yin yang, it's a picture that I had painted with acrylics on a wood plank, and it's just the kois, revolving around each other. And I wrote this poem on the spot, and it reads: Entwining unto the grand spiral, spiritual light has rejoiced its smile. The meaning lies within the soil, heart must claim what the mind stole. Restoring balance takes place in soul, the imbalance is a burden untold. Though dark is here as a teacher, there too shall be a student eager. Lessons taught of spring and summer, followed by fall and winter, all bring it to home unto center. What is there than to realize we are here to be nowhere?
It's so cool. And you have,
Oh yeah,
or do
yeah,
you
yeah.
not have it in front of you?
Yeah,
Cool.
you
I have it on
posted
my
it.
wall.
I saw that.
up
All
here.
right, enough. Sit down, eat your
I want them
food.
to see me.
They saw you a whole bunch.
Oh yeah,
Alright.
that one. Yeah,
That
that
is
is really beautiful.
Nice.
beautiful.
I love
Thank
it.
you. It's
Love
also
it.
Awesome.
Reiki infused with Osho and Shokure, and
Mm.
yeah,
That is really fucking awesome. Yeah, you are really in a flow of creating right now, right? A lot of
yeah,
painting and writing poems and everything.
yes, absolutely. I am serving my heart and soul's
We're gonna
mission
go
and just
upstairs.
Yes,
unleashing it all.
I'm just showing
that
them.
is beautiful. I love that. It's really another shift for you right now,
Serious.
right?
Yeah, amongst many.
Yeah,
There's been a
like
lot of shifts.
it's been such a productive
Holding on
period for
tight.
you, and so with the daily lives and everything, with the yoga.
Yeah. And there's some days where I really have to listen to myself most importantly, and some days I am just not in a flow to wake up and do the morning yoga flow sessions. So then um I try not to force myself, because then that's going to lead to burnout. And I have done that time and time over again, but this time I'm doing it differently, and I'm finding that it's lasting longer. So um it's allowing the influx of creative energies all around me to just be cultivated, and for me to focus in my own way compared to comparing how others work their ways.
Oh yes, I think it's a matter of balance, right? Not have that grip too tight and not too loose, but
Yeah,
just freely flowing and just feeling, how you flow every day and how you feel like, and let that be the guide, just how you feel every particular
Tell
day.
them I'm
I
taking
think we
a
talk
Yeah.
about that a lot, and it
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Mom, tell them I'm taking a
yeah.
nap.
And there's been so many times where I've gotten swept up in like old stories that I've told myself in comparisons, like, oh, but this person's doing it this way, they're successful, so maybe I can do it like that. And then it's just like
Yeah.
not working for me, because I'm not a being typically that likes to rely on a schedule, or
Yes.
So that.
likes to have something like set in stone to follow strictly. And it's just fucking 9 to 5, can't do it.
Yeah.
And
So
Me too.
breakfast.
That's what I
You know,
struggle
I
with
think we
too,
can
like
most relate. Most
planning,
of us can
structure,
relate
and
to that.
stability. Yeah,
yeah,
like, but especially me, like that's my weak point, like planning, structure, and stability. Like I do know that I can have a little bit more of it, and it will benefit me actually. But I've been trying to work on that, and
Well,
still it is not where I want it to be.
Right.
Yet simultaneously, I accept it, and I know that everything is perfect right here, right now. So I don't necessarily try to seek it outside of me, but I do realize that it is something I want to work on.
how are you
Right.
doing
I
on setting the daily goals that we've been talking about? If you just wake up in the morning and be like, you know what, this is what I'd like to get done today, throw a couple things out there, and then achieve it.
Yeah, that is still something I have been procrastinating. So
No,
some days,
that works well for me.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
some days I do it, and then it is satisfying if I do those goals. But yes, I definitely got a procrastinating mindset. There is definitely laziness and procrastination in me, which I still want to overcome. And one day I say I really want to work on it and overcome it, and then the next couple of days I might just be like, oh fuck it, I'll do it next
Yeah,
day.
because you got to step out of your comfort zone, Mark, and make it happen.
Yes, yes,
right.
that's
There you
also
Well, I
go.
think
that's also
Yeah.
out of your comfort zone. Yeah,
I think there's a
absolutely.
sort of paradox here, and like it's kind of like how the brain, like it sort of solidifies at a certain age into a certain personality and a certain set of behaviors, but it's still sort of plastic in that it changes. And like that goes into like sort of strength, or the idea of strength. Like a strong or enduring plan, I think it has to have certain steadfast rules, like, all right, I'm going to get this done by a certain time, or I'm going to at least get this far. I'm gonna at least start on this, right? Like, but like it also has to be flexible, right? Because if a plan is so dead
Yeah.
set and like I need to do this at this time exactly this way, then you're never going to get it done because it's never going to happen exactly the way you plan
Yeah,
it.
make
Like nothing
yeah,
happens exactly the way you plan it.
Yeah, you got to just make loose, flexible plans. Like
Yes.
these are some things that I want to do today. If I say I have a good reason that it doesn't happen, well, so be it. Or if I just really don't feel it today, then so be it. I can always move it around. Doesn't have to be a specific time, but at least throw some things out there. And hey, it is a new month, guys. It is March 1st. So you know what? I'm taking this as an opportunity to dive into this new month with some more structure and stability. Let's fucking go. I am trying to make a day plan now every day again and really
Well, you got
get that
this.
Beautiful.
really work on that.
I
Yeah.
have faith in you.
Thank you. I do too. I got this.
Good.
You got this.
And so what is something you guys want to what do you want to say, Hunter?
Oh, I just also wanted to kind of mention something along the lines of what we were just talking about, like setting goals daily and following our own kind of flexible schedule.
Mhm.
So the other day I had woken up with a weird fucking influx of energy, like, okay, I want to go to the park and I want to bring my canvas and paint and spend some time in the sun, have some music playing, though I didn't end up having music played. I got down to my car. I had full intentions on driving to the park and doing my thing. And I find that my car doesn't start at all. And further, 2-3 days into it, I find out that it's completely died. So that pretty much changed those plans. But with that, I was able to get a ride to the park and continue. And I am proud of myself for persevering past it because it created an absolutely it created something that my heart just reflected, and it brings me a lot of happiness looking at it every day on my wall. And if you guys want to see it, I can show you.
Yes,
yeah,
please, please.
I'd love to.
And it's mixed media. It's 3D.
Wow.
so
that
cool.
is
Nice.
lovely.
That is beautiful.
It's 3D.
Yeah, I put some sticks here
Oh, neat.
Oh,
and a rock
wow.
for a meteor up in the sky,
Oh, that's really cool.
Mhm.
and some
That is
dirt
really cool.
for the shore and dirt on the mountains.
I love
And
that.
at night, you can see behind here. Can you see?
Some
Oh,
Kind of,
wires.
yeah. Oh,
Like
there's
some
lights on
wires.
it.
Oh shit!
That's
So,
Is that
um,
LED?
Yes, LED lights. I poked holes in the sky, and at night the light
that's
shines through,
cool.
and there is stars that shine.
I
Wow.
That's
love
really neat.
that. Oh my
That is so
god.
cool.
And
That
so
Very
is
nice.
my heart reflected successfully.
yes,
really
that is
cool.
That's a really cool
beautiful.
idea.
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
just like all your lights you put on the big tapestry, that is really cool as well. That's really
Thank you.
inspiring. I want to do some juicy shit like this in my room with the little lights and all of that. That is so awesome.
Yeah,
That is
dude,
really
if I was
cool.
there, I'd totally help you. That's one of my passions too.
Yes. Oh my God. We need to talk about it. You can always help me, while just chatting. I just ordered some new tapestries for the bedroom to juice it up a little bit over there. It's kind of boring. It's a new house, just plain walls. But I just got some tapestries in, and I have some tapestries in the living room, but they keep falling off because I got them on with like double tape, but it's not sticking on. How do you have yours on the wall?
I just have little thumbtacks in the corners, and I can show you what I did with that too. I'll turn them on for you.
Or just leave that there.
So right here, the lights behind the tapestry and
Oh, I see them.
all that, and
Yeah.
I just have the thumbtacks up there, and then for behind the tapestry, I just tacked them up
That's
like
so
this,
cool.
Yeah.
and then I was able to kind of make it look like there's lights going all throughout the tree and down into the roots, and
That's really badass.
I bet
Yeah,
that looks
anybody can
amazing
do
at
that.
night.
Mm.
I said, I bet that looks amazing at night.
oh, it's
Like
Yeah.
comforting and warm and yeah.
So what are
Yeah.
these thumbtacks that you say? What are these things exactly?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
how-
Um,
mhm.
They-
you've probably heard of them before. Just putting up posters. Yeah.
yeah,
They're
they're
a type of pin.
Oh, like the little pins, the little
You,
that
you know,
you.
the little bronze
Little
pins with like
silver
flash
ones.
head things.
yeah, just
Yeah.
like
Oh,
They
big
call them
oh,
thumbtacks because
those,
they
yeah,
hurt the
yeah,
fuck out of
yeah.
your thumbs. Apparently, I don't know.
I only knew the Dutch word.
What is the Dutch
no
word?
worries.
Punaise. I
Um,
think that's actually a French word, and we use the French word
Okay.
like punaise
okay.
or something. But I have a too hard wall for those. I got a is it cement? No, I don't
Rubber
think it's
cement?
cement.
I think maybe they
Um,
called it. No.
Like the really hard stone kind of wall. I don't know the name exactly. but
Yeah,
maybe
it might be
Cinder
cement.
block.
Putty. I think it's
Cinder
called putty.
block.
I don't know.
Putty is
like,
what you put on the.
like
fix the
cement is
wall.
actually cement in Dutch, but this is like beton in Dutch, and I wouldn't know what it is in English. But anyways, like stone, so super hard, so that doesn't go through actually.
My walls are mine
Gotcha.
are actually really, really hot, so I can't really get thumbtacks
Mm.
or
I have this
nails
like
in them.
sticky hooks thing in my room for my tapestries. I'll just send you a link for that in the podcast later and you see if they work for
Ooh.
you.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
gotta
forget what
figure
those
it
are
out because
called.
Guys,
mine
guess what
keep
day it is
falling off
today?
of the tape, so that I just keep sticking them back on again with
Yeah,
more
tape is
but
like the worst.
It only works. It only works for a little while, and then they just fall off again.
Hey guys,
So,
guys,
I
guess
gotta
what
think
day
of a
it is
solution.
today? Guess
What day is
it
it?
is today?
What day is it?
St. David's Day for us Welshies.
Oh, yeah.
What is-
What does that mean?
Yeah, what is that?
You know how like Scotland has St. Andrew's Day, and like the Irish have St. Patrick's Day, where
Yes,
we
okay.
celebrate a saint. Well, for us Welshies, we have St. David's Day on the 1st of
Well,
March.
happy St. David's Day.
Happy
So
St. David's
in
Day,
Welsh,
Sean.
St. Dafydd.
Enjoy it
In
to the
Welsh,
fullest.
it's Dafydd
We're in a
for
library. I'd
David.
celebrate louder if I could.
He's like he already got told about it twice from what I've seen. You're being too loud. And then Justin's just in his room.
Right.
He's in a soundproof
like
room. He could be as loud as he wants. Yeah.
And the rest
Yeah,
of
like
us can
that-
be as
say
loud as
that
we like
fine.
as well.
So, what would be something that you guys want to work on the coming time, which is out of your comfort zone? Can anybody think of something?
Oh my god, I do
Yes.
that every single day anyways. Like I just
Yeah.
always go out of my comfort zone. It's
But maybe
become a
maybe a
thing.
particular
Oh,
thing
I know.
which is a little bit more out of
I
your
have
comfort zone
one.
than usual.
I'd love to
That's
hear it, Sean.
actually thinking in front of people on, like, say, like here or recording myself and
yeah.
sending it to, the podcast chat group.
So
I
you know
encourage
what?
you to do that.
Let's make a plan. Let's just do it. Just do it. Like within a day or within 2 days. Just say I'm gonna do it within like whatever time you want. Let's just make some goals.
Love
Are you
that.
talking about podcast?
No, like
Singing.
she's saying like she wants to step
Right.
out of her comfort zone with like recording herself, like singing and sharing it with the group. So
And letting everyone actually see
let's do
my
it.
mug.
Yeah.
I love
so-
watching you sing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, you
I
get
was also
Well,
Oh,
Hugh
go
gets to see me to record myself singing all the time. He gets all the videos of actually seeing me singing. So it's sharing it to the whole wide world.
Well, that's a
That's
step
what
in
makes
the
it
right
lovely.
direction. Yeah, that's getting it out there, getting you comfortable with it. You're sending it to somebody you're comfortable with, but that's making you more comfortable with doing it. And the next step is to go a little further out of your comfort zone, share it in the podcast page, maybe start wherever you, I was gonna say wherever you feel comfortable, but the whole point is about stepping outside your comfort zone. So wherever you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say actually, oh sorry, Sean, did you have more to
I
say?
was just
I
going
wanna
to
go on the walk.
say to Q that
Maybe in a little bit.
that's what you
After the
thought I was
podcast?
talking about first. But when Mark got me singing, when I recorded, done a voice clip of me singing, and Mark twisted me arm sort of to share it in the chat group, and then you heard me for the first time and realised I was actually a woman and not a man.
Right. I was gonna bring up that particular story.
Well,
but
I
yeah.
did, so there we go.
My homework.
Oh, thanks, Charlie. Yeah, I did. That's when I realized I really liked you. I mean, I thought you were like cool right away, but I heard your voice and I immediately fell in love.
Oh,
You
How
sing quite beautifully,
sweet.
darling.
well, thank you.
And actually you
Give me bush
motivated
live
this
on
sort of
camera.
right. I want to say you motivated me to try to do what I've been working towards for quite some time. It's try to put out some of my own creative projects. I'm not sure exactly what that will be, but I've been doing a whole lot of like curating and collaging and putting together different things, and like web design I think is kind of something like that. Like there's no point in making a website about your website. Like it has to have something interesting. So I've generally been helping artists and other people who are doing some cool, amazing stuff. And I think I've been doing some interesting web design, but it still feels like it's facilitating someone else's work. So what I want to do is try to put my own creative stuff out there in some way. And I've been motivated to do that more, well, because of you, darling.
Oh, thank you. And here's where I'm just, blushing in front of
You got her
everyone on
blushing,
camera.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it helps that. Sorry, it really helps to have support, regardless of who your support system is. Having support or having somebody that believes in you or having somebody just hear you out it's all you need sometimes. You're motivating yourself. You just have somebody to lend the ear, and being able to get it out from like inside of you and out into somebody else's, just doesn't even have to be another person, but just here, have this. Kind of helps me sort what I'm doing and my thoughts and my goals a little bit easier.
Yes, and the
Good.
encouragement and
Yeah.
the power of the group, and also why I'm still going strong with being fully sober is because I have a sense of I created this group, I spoke out my goals, and I want to stay strong, not just for myself but also for the group, and it gives a sense of accountability. And that's also, if you speak out some goals that you want to work on, like stepping out of your comfort zone. I want to make another post. I will probably do a post on the High Vibe Tribe Facebook group, and anybody that can think of something
they
that you
saw
want
it,
to
good
step
job.
out of your comfort zone can comment on that, and then we can reflect on that in like a week or in 2 weeks or something again. And yeah, I think that is a great way to just every month maybe have a couple of things that we want to work on in that coming month. Everybody speaks them out, and then we're gonna just catch up and then see how everybody is doing with it, because I know I have been doing good with a lot of aspects because of the group. So I definitely want to keep riding onto that wave and keep doing something with that. In the meantime, I was trying to think of something that is out of my comfort zone. Well, if you can put like planning and everything out of my comfort zone, and that is sure something that I want to work on. But also one thing that I can really think of that is still something that gets me uncomfortable is, like I said, in person talk in front of a large group. So I am actually going to do some research to see if maybe in my area somewhere is an opportunity where I could talk to a group of people. Maybe even get a mic and stand in the city on the big square or something and start talking
I
with a mic.
Go be a
encourage you to do that.
motivational speaker.
You can totally do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
Definitely.
Some
Mark
stuff like
could
that.
be stood in the middle of the square in his local shopping centre, dancing like a weirdo as he
Just-
does, and just hype people up and motivate them.
Yeah, just
Right.
spew
I've
out
wanted to do
something.
that.
Like dancing,
You know-
dancing like crazy, on the big square would be less out of my comfort zone than actually
But
starting a
motivating them
conversation
at
and
the same
talking still.
time. That's
At the same time,
what you
doing some
do.
crazy dance moves, and in the meantime, giving some
Exactly.
motivational speech.
Mark,
Right. I
Mark,
wanted to say,
It all out.
you gotta
Oh.
freestyle. You gotta freestyle while dancing
Yeah.
in front of everyone.
And doing a motivational speech
Yes.
freestyle
You gotta
too.
freestyle it. Yes, 100%.
Actually,
that
that's
would
a
be
thing.
really cool.
Doing a motivational, like kind of sort of rap, but it's not a rap. It's just a motivational speech. Those are a thing.
Right.
I mean-
and,
Not
do-
doing all this
do-
weird dance
why
like,
not?
like that.
Yeah.
Let's make it more and more awkward.
But you know what? You could just start small and like just start talking. Start
was gonna
talking
say-
about yourself, maybe, or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
don't.
I will talk about stepping out of my comfort zone. I will talk about I am
Yeah.
right now stepping out of my comfort zone and the value of that. For example, I could talk about that and the value of what I am doing right now. Look, I am standing here and this is very uncomfortable for me, but I am doing this for a purpose to step out of my comfort zone and blah 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 blah. The whole shebang.
I think I
could
love
do
that even
that.
more because that's you being like very real in the moment. And I'm sure a lot of other people, whoever's there that are listening to you, can relate to it also.
Hmm.
So you might
and probably
gather
even
more
join.
like, yeah, so you might gather more like
Hmm.
people interested in hearing what you have to say because you're just being real.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. This
Yeah.
is actually exciting me right now. Like
Hey, that's how you
stepping
know
out
it's
of my
true.
comfort zone excites me. Yeah.
I wanted to say
Yeah,
also
yeah,
that ties in very well to B, who was on one of our last episodes, who you were saying people talk often about like motivational stuff. It's somewhat motivational, I'd say, because it's like conscious rap and it's about like, trying to elevate yourself and become more, aware about your surroundings and who you are and who you want to be. So I think that like sort of it lines in. It's motivational to me at least.
Absolutely.
And
oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that like also as far as like putting yourself out there, I haven't done a whole lot of public speaking lately. I was kind of like in a debate club in high school, but I never really I didn't do a whole lot with that. But I was always like really self-conscious about like how I'm standing or how I'm moving around. Like I think people
Same.
often told me that I walk a certain way that's weird or something, and then I
Same.
was really self-conscious about it, and I kept on changing the way I walked. And like no one was
Yeah.
ever really happy with how I walked. So like I kind of forgot like well, how am I supposed to like walk? Like what does it mean to walk naturally? And have you ever tried to walk naturally, like trying to do anything naturally? It just looks really fucking weird if you try
Yeah.
too
Like,
hard.
what the fuck
So
is
it just-
natural to you guys?
Right. It became like a
This-
self-fulfilling prophecy. They were like, you
Yeah,
walk
'cause
weird. And I'm like, why do I
what's
walk weird? So I
natural
started
to
trying to
one
walk normal. And that was
person-
like really weird.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like
Yeah,
I've always
what I
been
was
told that
saying
I
was
run
what-
weird.
what-
so same
what's
thing.
natural to one person is completely unnatural to someone else.
yeah.
So-
Oh, I remember when I was a kid, I would like Naruto run. I would bend over and run like almost on the side, and everyone thought I was such a dork, but I was faster than
remember
everyone
that.
else. So like screw them anyways.
Uh,
Any- anyways, like one thing I did when I was really like self-conscious about the way people were looking at me was like, well, I would drink a little bit first, but then I would find some place out in public or like with a street light, just with a bunch of cars going by, and then I'd just start dancing. Like I didn't even care who was looking at me, just random people going by. I thought I was some weird drunk idiot dancing on the street, but like it really
fuck
helped me
yeah.
get over this trepidation about being in public and people watching me. Like at a certain point, like, well,
Yeah.
if everyone's watching me, why don't I give them something to see?
Show.
Hell yeah. No, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's the same type of stuff that I would do, like just make myself uncomfortable. Well, not like totally like that. That is actually a really good one to just, if you're in the middle of nowhere, just start dancing like that. But yeah, like I was
It's a-
super self-conscious and super like I was on the extreme side of being very shy and very anxious. And now I'm quite on the other side. And people always, compliment me and say like, oh, that's so cool that you're, by yourself and, being so loose and free and all of that. So yeah, it's actually sometimes still getting used to, like, it's weird to hear that often, that people always say that. Like I was just in a concert in Hamburg, actually. and talking about dancing. Like I was going crazy, full ecstatic dance over there. Like it was some vibey, acoustic, electric, a Turkish trio. So it was some really cool vibey music, and I was going crazy dancing. Like right from the start, I was with friends, and they were slowly had to get into it, but right from the start, I just went all out. And I was just dancing. I put my heart and soul into it. Dancing is my biggest passion. Then at the end of the show, they were selling some merch. So I wanted to get some stickers. I barely have any money right now, so I didn't want to get the record of 25 euros. I just got some stickers for 2 euros. But then when I met the band, they all said they loved my energy and my dancing, and they thanked me. And the singer actually gave me the record. He was like, "Here, this is for you. You deserve it," because I just went out there and dancing so passionately and everything. So that really means so much to me.
Love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really so awesome. And yeah,
Your energy
I
just
could-
really just generally attracted that. So I mean that goes into
Yeah.
the power of like projecting this sort of vibe, or like what
Yeah.
sort of world do you want to live in? Like just pretend you're already there and it'll happen to you one way or another.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like
Absolutely.
becoming the attraction,
Yes, absolutely. And I couldn't have imagined myself a couple of years ago, even, being like that, and also being totally sober. Like I would have at least needed a couple of drinks before coming on that level. Like I was so anxious and insecure, and now I just, go into a crowd and go dancing crazy. And that is all because of stepping out of my comfort zone many, many times. So yeah, I noticed firsthand the power of stepping out of my comfort zone. And in that aspect, like dancing and being loose and stuff, like I'm good. It's just like speaking and everything, that there is still a resistance, that there is still some awkwardness that I want to overcome. So yeah, I really want to do this, to publicly speak in the city center or wherever it is busy. I just need to get me a mic or something,
Well,
like
Mark,
a mic that I can
I
use.
dare you to do it.
I-
By this
I-
time next
Double
month,
dip.
by the 1st of April, you have to have done it. I
It
dare
gives you an
you.
entire month.
I'm going for it. I'm going.
and
I'll
I could
record
have
it.
gave you
I'll
a week.
record it.
I could have gave you a week, but I'm giving you a month, because then that way you get more time to get yourself a microphone.
She's very
As
generous.
someone else said, you have to record it. If I'm going to record myself singing for the podcast page, you have to record yourself speaking live in the middle of your town centre.
It's just
and
a
that would
tiny
naturally
bit more.
increase the audience.
Yeah.
Huh?
That would naturally increase the audience if you recorded
Right.
it.
It totally
Right.
could. Hey, I found out you can buy a billboard in NYC for not very long, for like an hour, but you can have like your advertisement in New York City on a billboard in the middle of Times Square for like $500. So
Hey,
If
you
we
can
start
make
up-
money while you're doing it.
let's start a GoFundMe. I can start advertising it. I'll promote it on Twitter, and then let's try to get $500. Says like at this date, at this time, there's gonna be a performance. Get ready.
New York
Oh,
City
yeah.
is like
Oh, yeah.
8
Do it,
hours
man.
away from me. Way further. I think I'm probably the closest one to New York City.
That's wild.
Yeah, because you guys, Arizona, Texas, the Netherlands,
Yeah.
the UK.
Oh yeah.
No limits. We just go.
Alrighty, guys.
We should
I
wrap it
think
up.
we have been going for almost an
Yeah.
An
hour and a half. So hell
already.
yeah, that's gonna be my goal. I'm gonna fucking do it. Anyone that's
Do
watching,
it.
stay tuned. There will come a video of me speaking in public. I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna
Good
fucking
boy.
do it.
Go, Mark.
Let's fucking
Go,
go.
Mark.
All right, and we're
So,
gonna
yeah.
get this particular episode. I mean, if you're here watching this and you hear this, you're gonna know. But this particular episode is going to be edited and uploaded by Friday.
Yeah, and it's gonna be on SoundCloud, on Facebook, on YouTube, and hopefully soon on everywhere you listen to podcasts, including like Apple and Google, and Spotify.
Spotify.
So
Be
yeah,
my teacher, and then I'm gonna be my mom.
All right. Well,
Alrighty. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in,
Wanna get
and
off?
we'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.
Namaste.
bye-bye.
Namaste.
I stopped the live.